Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is a quick video about a LLM technique or a prompt engineering technique which significantly enhances the performance of your LLM system. So I've been working in the LLM domain from past few years, and recently few of my colleagues and friends asked how would you significantly increase the LLM performance. There are multiple techniques, but one of the bare minimum technique I always use is something called self-reflection technique, which significantly expands or enhances the LLM performances. I just wanted to make a quick video on that. So if you're someone who is building an LLM application, you definitely have to have a self-reflection technique to expand or to improve your LLM performance. And we'll go through the code snippet in a while. Or if you're someone who is just using ChatGPT or any of the LLM based applications just for your day-to-day usage, you can use that technique just manually as well. I'll explain that as well. So let's get started. And before going for the code snippet, just a quick announcement. As most of you know, like I'm an AI engineer who's taking freelancing projects. I'm available right now for new projects. If you're interested in any AI generated applications or LLM applications, I'm taking the new projects, and you can find me on Upwork as well, and you can reach me on LinkedIn or Instagram. My socials are there in the video description. Click on them, and then we can take it further. If you have any idea, I'll make sure your idea will become reality, especially in the SaaS and LLM domain. So yeah, feel free to contact me for any LLM based or AI based applications. Here is the quick script I have created just to showcase how self-reflection technique for AI agent works. I'm not going to go through a detailed coding methodology for this. My idea is to explain you guys what actually self-reflection technique is. Okay, the quick overview here is I'm just creating an agent class. This is the standard way of creating LLM agent. Like I'm creating an LLM. I'm using OpenAI API key for the LLM, and then I'm using GPT-4 Omni model. Memory is basically to keep all that conversation in the memory. So when you are sending a message to LLM, you will also send all the previous messages that user has sent and the LLM has responded. So it has more context when replying for your question or answer. Yeah. And then this is how we add it. For the initial one is we'll first add simple message to the memory, that is you are an AI agent role, and role could be personal assistant or anything that user has passed, and instructions are like a prompts that what it has to do. Right now the default is help users with any questions. Okay, the simple another method is invoke method, where it actually calls the ChatGPT or any of the LLM that you have. The logic I have added is if you want to have self-reflection for one time, I just added some math in here how to calculate that. Don't worry about this logic, it's just a simple. This is again the user message will be added to the memory just to add more context for the LLM to respond better. So here the assistant response, here we call LLM. I'll explain this method in here, and the response from the LLM or AI will be stored back to the memory again. And if there is a loop that is provided, how many times the self-reflection has to happen, if it is there, it will again call the LLM and add it to the context. Right, get compilation, this is where our LLM happens. The LLM is our OpenAI or ChatGPT API that we are using, and then this is the syntax of them saying that this is how you have to call our API if you want to have a response from OpenAI, right? Temperature is basically how creative the answer could be. Like 0 is being not so creative, just answering what you have asked. And temperature, if you put it 1, it can go crazy. Like it could answer in a very creative manner. It do not really just answer your question. It comes with so many other details related to that in a simple way. You can understand that way. And simple login here. This is the agent. I'm instantiating the agent here and then calling a method. Our method is in here, invoke. The initial message or a question that user is asking, say for example, what is an LLM? I'm asking what is an LLM, explain in 2 sentences, right? I just say make max iteration 2. I have mentioned max iteration as 1. That means it can have one self-reflection. What does that mean is when AI has responded with answer, it will reflect that answer with the user question saying that, say you are responding to this particular question of users, and just go through that question And again, review your answer as per user request. If it is good, respond back. If it is not, just come up with a new answer as per the user instruction. Where are the instructions? If you see self-evaluator, this is the prompt. The prompt is here, a simple prompt. Reflect on your previous response. Identify any mistakes, areas for improvement, or ways to clarify the answer, making it more concise and easy to understand. Provide a revised response if necessary in JSON output structure. Why we are mentioning JSON output structure is I'm telling LLM like your response should be in this structure, so it will be easy for me to parse it when I'm building a software applications, right? So for the original response, what AI has responded for the previous time, and then it will say whether revisions needed and what is the reason behind the revisions that it is doing, and then updated response. If it feels like there is an updated answer for this, then it will update this, and these three keys in this format will be returned back, and I'll parse it as per the response. If you see response choices of 0 message.content, that will be in this particular format that I have mentioned. Yeah, so having said that, let's give it a quick demo. I'll just run this query. See, for what the first question I have asked is, what is an LLM? Explain in 2 sentences, right? And I have asked for one iteration or one self-reflection. First answer that the AI has given is an LLM or large language model is type of artificial intelligence that uses deep learning technique to understand and generate human-like text based on the input it receives. These models are trained on vast accounts of text data, enabling them to perform a variety of language-related tasks such as translation, summarization, and conversations. Right, this is the first response AI has provided. So now, since I have mentioned about self-reflection as 1 or max iteration as 1, it went one more loop inside that and then started responding in this format. The original response is same that AI has provided for the first time, and then it gave the reason why it is trying to update the response. By looking at the response, it is self-reflecting itself, right? It's a 2 LLM calls happening at this time. One is for the original, one is for the self-reflection. So if you see the revisions needed response, the response can be made more concise and straightforward by reducing redundancy and simplifying language. It understood itself. There are some redundancy in the response that it has provided. So it understood itself like this response can be improved with these reasons, right? And the updated response with the next iteration that AI has provided is here. An LLM or large language model is an AI that generates human-like text by analyzing large data sets. It can perform various language tasks including translation and summarization. Right, since still it has little more technical words, maybe difficult for user to understand. So you can see the difference. The first response was too large, too many data in it. It is not really needed that kind of response. So in the self-reflection phase, it reflected this can be improved by avoiding the redundancy and simplifying the language. If I want to add one more reflection, it's straightforward. Go back here, increase the iteration to 2. So what happened this time is, first it will get the response for this question and then go to the loop again and then ask for the reflection and again come up with a new output like this. Again, since it is 2 times, it will call another LLM call to further reflect. Of course, it will add multiple LLM calls and there could be latency, but this you can already see the difference of response that AI has provided. It is more straightforward for the user to understand. So now that I have mentioned 2 iterations, let's see how it responds now. I'm calling it and again running it. First, again, what is an LLM? Explain in 2 seconds. An LLM or large language model, if the first initial response long enough, and the second time it called, this is the original response, and the reasoning this time is the response can be made more concise and straightforward by reducing redundancy and simplifying language. Somewhat similar reason it has understood. And the updated response is an LLM or large language model is an AI that uses deep learning to generate and understand human-like text. It is trained on extensive text data. See, extensive text data. This is more understandable for the user instead of mentioning like large data sets or something like that, right? Allowing it to perform tasks like translation, summarization, and conversation. Okay, this already has reduced the performance or the quality of the response LLM has generated. So since I have mentioned one more time, it went through. Yeah, I think it has went. This is a previous log. That's fine. Since I have mentioned one more time, it again The response is generally clear, but it can be further simplified by removing technical jargon. See, it's understood. This response can be improved just by removing the technical jargons for normal users, right? Normal user may not understand too much of technicalities in the response. So LLM itself understood, it self-reflected its own response, making it more accessible and broader audience. Here, the new response is an LLM or large language model is a type of AI that can read and write text like human. This is already very near to the layman users, right? They could easily understand just by reading it. It learns from a lot of written material, enabling it to do things like translate language, summarize information, and chat. Right? This is already a very near or very non-technical response that it has provided. And now, since there is another reflection happened, another round of reflection happened, and the reason it was given for this particular response it has generated is the response is clear but could be made even more concise by removing unnecessary phrases and focusing on the core definition, right? There can be unnecessary, I think there are some unnecessary phrases in this response that it has provided. It identified that and it tried to improve that as well. See, now the final response is an LLM or large language model is an AI that can understand and generate human-like text. Like it's an AI that can understand and generate human-like text. It learns from extensive written material to perform tasks like translation, summarization, and conversation. It's much better now. It's any non-technical user reading it once will understand what an LLM is, right? At a high level. So this is the final answer it has provided and it exited. So this is how you can include self-reflection technique whenever you are building a LLM based application. This is a programmatic way of building an agent with a self-reflection abilities. So you can just control it if you want self-reflection, or if you don't want self-reflection, just make it as false. It's the coding techniques or logic that you can use. In a simple way, if you want to follow this kind of standards in your ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any of the bots that you use daily, is simple. Get the first response from your LLM, paste it in your text box and say, this is what I have asked and this is what you have responded. Can you see this can be improved? Copy paste it and ask the ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, and then it will come up with a more precise answer. This way you are already adding self-reflection manually. This is the way which I have explained, is adding it in programmatically. There are so many other improvement techniques that we can use, like query expansion, making user input expanded. We can even give some of the examples for the LLM, saying there are few shorts example. Like you can look into these kind of examples when generating the response. So it will look into those options and then generate the response for the user in. This is one of the technique that I use pretty commonly when I'm building agent application. That's why I have made this pretty common technique. Maybe it will be helpful for someone who is starting with LLM, or maybe it will be even helpful for someone who is building the LLM applications. Making it more self-reflected will help improve the performance and quality of the response LLM generates. Thank you. Feel free to contact me for any LLM-based or AI-based applications. Thanks. And before going for the code snippet, just a quick announcement. As most of you know, like I'm an AI engineer who is taking freelancing projects. I'm available right now for new projects. If you're interested in any AI generated applications or LLM applications, I'm taking the new projects, and you can find me on Upwork as well, and you can reach me on LinkedIn or Instagram. My socials are there in the video description. Click on them and then we can take it further. If you have any idea, I'll make sure your idea will become reality, especially in the SaaS and LLM domain. So yeah, feel free to contact me for any LLM based or AI based applications. Thanks. And before going for the code snippet, just a quick announcement. As most of you know, like I'm an AI engineer who is taking freelancing projects. I'm available right now for new projects. If you're interested in any AI generated applications or LLM applications, I'm taking the new projects, and you can find me on Upwork as well, and you can reach me on LinkedIn or Instagram. My socials are there in the video description. Click on them and then we can take it further. If you have any idea, I'll make sure your idea will become reality, especially in the SaaS and LLM domain. So yeah, feel free to contact me for any LLM based or AI based applications. Thanks.